Hello, my name is Leonardo DiLaprio and welcome to my living room where I'll spend the next 3 hours staring at a camera while making a fool of myself. You've already seen the title. Today's video will be about piano tiles. For those of you who still use this Nokia or have been in prison for the past 10 years, I can tell you that Piano Tiles is a mobile game where you play a piano song by hitting different tiles while completely failing to mimic the song you're playing. According to the trustworthy website Wikipedia, the game was launched in March 2014 and was a hit in both iOS and Android. Then they released it for Windows Phone, which, as we all know, has always been a very popular choice when buying a smartphone. A sequel followed named Piano Tiles 2, and unlike every Disney animated sequel, the game was extremely well received. Since the game came out a couple of years ago, I'm pretty sure that no one has ever done a video with some AI playing this. Or if they did, I'm certain the views weren't very high. You know, nothing like millions and millions of views. Just like EDP 445, Piano Tiles 2 ended up being cancelled, but it had nothing to do with cookies. As it turns out, the game had some adware and malware in their files that violated the Google Play Store disruptive ads policy. Which is pretty bad, but I would still rather catch a virus than play any of the rip-offs that exist nowadays. We have Magic Tiles, where the magic consists of making ads appear out of thin air. There's also Magic Cat Piano Tiles, if for some reason you want to transform your cat into a musical prodigy, which would go by the stage name of Claude the Pussy. At the end of the day, pretty much every single game has another game as an inspiration, and Piano Tiles is no different. According to my highly documented research, I found out that Piano Tiles was inspired by Guitar Hero. My journey starts exactly there because I was trying to do an AI to play Guitar Hero. The AI that I was building had some flaws, so I decided to work on an easier project that could help me understand how to improve such AI. I started by completing the 3 Dark Souls games with no armor, and after a couple of years came to the conclusion that it didn't help at all. Then I thought about doing an AI for Piano Tiles, because the game is pretty similar to Guitar Hero, so it could help me to crack the code. Before actually starting to build the AI, I needed a working game, so I decided to install an Android emulator to run the game. Pretty much the same thing as having a Nintendo DS emulator, where you can play Pokemon and pretend to be a 10-year-old sent off to somewhere to catch monsters, while the local town professor nails your mom. But instead, you can play Piano Tiles, where you pretend to be a pianist without the carpal tunnel syndrome, tinnitus and depression. I got the game working using the emulator and gave it a try, but I could only play with my mouse, so I think you can guess what happened. What a fantastic performance. So how am I going to approach this? First step is to take a bunch of screenshots when the game is running. Second step is to identify and click on the blue key to start playing. Third and final step is to do the same for the remaining black keys that appear along the way. But how am I going to find the tiles in the screenshot? The screenshot, or an image, is just a bunch of small dots called pixels. Each pixel is made out of 3 colors that match the hair of every edgy teenager: red, green and blue. Each color can have a value from 0 to 255, and we can pretty much make any color we want by adjusting those values. For example, to get to blue for the first tile, I set the values like this. To get white, you can set them all to 255, and to get black, you set them all to 0. So after getting an image, I just needed to go through every single pixel until I find a pixel that matched the blue for the first tile. I click on it, the game starts going, and I do the same thing for all the remaining black tiles. This is the part where I show you this kind of working, but before that, I have a very important message to share. To any godforsaken donor that is going to try to copyright strike this, I just want to say that every song is in the YouTube audio library. So please don't, okay? Now let's watch my crappy AI fail miserably. At this point I wasn't worried because I still had a couple of cards up my sleeve and it was time to code! My guess for these failures was that it was taking too long to process each screenshot. But what if the screenshot was split into multiple pieces and the AI could look at those pieces at the same time? This is where threads come into play. Threads are pieces of code that a program can launch, so it's kind of like programs inside a program or programception, music by Claude Debussy. At this point there's a single thread looking at all the pixels of the screenshot. But like I said, I can split the image into different pieces and have one thread looking at each of those pieces. Since all the threads can run at the same time, I can process each screenshot faster and need way more tiles than before. With this change, the AI did manage to get to 3 crowns in a couple of songs, but those were the easiest ones, and I wanted to get to the top. If I wanted easy, I would date myself, but I'm going big. I'm going Instagram models who claim that Africa is a country, or TikTok stars which only talents are dancing and having anxiety. But in order to get to the top, some sacrifices need to be made. Look at steroids, for example. Bodybuilders take steroids in order to get big muscles, which might lead to erectile dysfunction. On this note, how ironic would it be if a guy called The Rock couldn't get hard? Or if Thor was unable to lift his hammer? The point is, I did my sacrifices as well. I sacrificed programming best practices in order to unleash this AI full potential. When you're working with threads, you're supposed to wait for the running threads to finish their job in order to create and launch some new threads. And I was doing that, so I stopped, and this is what happened. I forgot to mention that the AI also hits these bonus tiles at the end of the song. It just checks for yellow tiles as well. hey, it's me again. I'm just going to skip to the bit where the AI loses the game because I don't want you to spend another 10 minutes slacking off work or just sitting in the toilet. I mean, pizza is pretty great, but did you just saw that? Faster than the speed of light according to my wrong calculations. The AI did so well that I decided to run it through some of the hardest songs in the game, and it behaved brilliantly. Like I said before, all of the songs are supposedly copyright free, but none of them is one of the hardest songs in the game. I wanted you to see how well the AI does against the demanding songs, so I'll upload a new video where the AI plays the Moonlight Sonata third movement, because unlike J.J. Abrams, Beethoven knows how to make a good sequel. That's it for the video, thanks for sticking through the end. I would ask you to like and subscribe, but a piece of my soul leaves my body every time that I do that. So see you on the next video.